Welcome to our monthly update in Strasbourg. Well, actually it's not a month because it's only a few weeks since we were last here, and they say a week's a long time in politics, but certainly 3 weeks is, because when we were here last time we were going into the British general election and we were talking about particularly Fermanagh, South Tyrone, and obviously we're back here now with reduced political strength, but we're certainly not back with reduced determination. Despite having received the vote, the sterling vote, and the work that was done in the constituency, we lost that seat. But the activists are still up for doing work on the ground, and it's certainly going to be needed when you consider that the Tory government was returned in strength in large numbers, despite the fact that they told the people in England and Scotland and Wales and those who supported them in the north of Ireland that they were going to cut 30 billion from the budget. And we know that that's going to have implications for welfare cuts as well as the cuts in departments. And in addition to that, they are telling us by the end of this month that they're going to have in the British Queen's speech that they will repeal the Human Rights Act. That Act gave effect to the European Convention of Human Rights, which was committed to in the Good Friday Agreement. It also allows the Policing Board to monitor the PSNI's compliance with the Human Rights Act. So this is a flagrant breach of the Good Friday Agreement, damage to our political process and our peace process back home. And to that effect, I have been in touch with the UN Human Rights Commissioner to lodge our concerns there, because the Good Friday Agreement was lodged at the UN. And I've also talked to Commissioner Musniak, who is the Commissioner here in the Council of Europe, which is located in Strasbourg. And I'm engaging with many others to raise our concerns, and we hope to raise it here in among the groups here in this Parliament as well. There's lots that we could talk about what's happening here this week. There's the UN Convention on the Rights for People with Disability that's going to be discussed this evening, and disgracefully 5 years on we are still waiting on the Anti-Discrimination Directive to come out of Council. So with that, I will hand you over to my colleagues and we'll give you a flavour of what we've been at and what we'll be at this week. Liadh.
Gurmagus Martina, David Massa and Saw Harda Gaelgadi Strasbourg, Shoshing Erish, Tree Shaft and East Jenny, Agus Kata Tarlo and Saw. Well, I'm meeting Commissioner Vella today. He's the Commissioner for Fisheries. We have a crisis in the fishing industry in Ireland, as many of you know. And on the agenda today, I will be specifically asking him about the total eel ban that we have in Ireland. It's the only country in Europe, actually, that has a complete ban on eel fishing. And this is having devastating consequences for our eel fishermen, north, south, east and west. So that's on the agenda, as well as the landing obligation, the quotas and the implementation of penalty points. I'm hoping to have a very good meeting with him, and I'll keep you posted as to the results of that bowl. Later on in the month, I'm going to be meeting the Commission in relation to Leader, the ongoing battle I have with Leader. I could write a book about it at this stage. We have a serious issue concerning the regionalisation of it and how the regions are being categorised, and obviously the funding cuts as well. I don't think that the Commission here are completely aware of what's happening in Ireland yet again. Our government drip feeds them false information, in my view, as to what the reality on the ground is. So I'm going to make sure that they're aware of what's happening and to try and ask questions and maybe reverse some of the decisions that are being implemented. And on a final note, I really want to wish Kathleen Funchion the very best of luck on the upcoming by-election. Everybody has worked so hard up and down the country in helping her to canvass. Agus Marshén Tan Oberdienta, everybody's worn out from canvassing, but look, hopefully it'll all have been worth it. Kathleen is an excellent candidate, and I really hope and look forward to seeing the results of that by-election déhína Shachuing. So le sin is tócha chuir me se bhar gadín céad eile is tócha Lynn chun cúpla focail ráilih agus gadín céad eile gadí Strasbourg slán go fóil.
Well, I'm just back from Thessaloniki in Greece from a water conference where we met with various community groups that were explaining how they took their campaigns to prevent the privatisation of water or to overturn the privatisation of water. So it was a very interesting conference, listening to the experiences particularly of Berlin, where it was really a David and Goliath type campaign to try and get access to the contracts that were made with the private company and to reverse the decision due to the high costs and the lack of transparency in the Berlin private model. So we were a lot of sharing of information, a lot of gathering ideas about how the Right to Water campaign in Ireland can now further its campaign. So that was very interesting. Also, we've heard on the back of that conference that Greece will probably be the first country to recognise water as a human right. This is a really important step, and I am the author of the report in the Parliament to try and get the European Commission to legislate water as a human right. I also took the opportunity to meet with comrades in Syriza and to get an update on the ongoing problems they're having in dealing with trying to get a deal from the European Union and the institutions. And it was, I think, very depressing to hear the amount of pressure that they're being put under, and also, I suppose, the lack of solidarity that they're experiencing from other member states, including the Irish government. So it was nice for me to be there to say that, in general, the Irish people are 100% behind Syriza and that our government doesn't reflect their feelings. So I'll hand you over to Matt now.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn. Yeah, we've been ongoing in our work in terms of a lot of issues facing farmers that are arising from the new CAP process, and we're going to continue to do that. One of our priorities, of course, is raising awareness of the ongoing TTIP trade negotiations between the EU and the US. We have been very adamant and very articulate in our views that the Irish government have not been representing the best interests of the Irish people. There now is an opportunity because the US Congress last week delayed the process somewhat, and it means that the Irish government now have a real opportunity to stand up for the interests of Ireland, to ensure that the ISDS mechanism, which would allow investors to basically overturn democratic decisions of governments and regions, that be removed from the TTIP mandate. There's also an opportunity now to ensure that provisions are put in place in any mandate to protect the interests of Irish agriculture, but also to ensure that workers' rights and environmental standards are protected. So we're going to continue to do that. There will be a big vote in the European Parliament over the coming months, and we're going to try and ensure that our concerns are included in that. But we're also going to ensure that we keep pressure on the Irish government, because up until this point they have been acting as PR agents for the European Commission rather than defenders of Irish interests. We're going to try and change that. And just finally, can I, on behalf of all of us, encourage everybody to vote yes on Friday in the equality referendum, and just to commend all those campaigning organisations and individuals for carrying out a fantastic campaign, whatever the result is, and we're very hopeful that it's a positive result. You are an absolute credit to yourselves, to your communities, and we're very proud Irish people seeing the huge energy and positive dynamic that the Yes campaign has brought about. So Coharjas live Galer.
Until next time, Slán go fóill.